Okay.
Yay. So, actually I should say, we can put the chart up on your laptop and put it here just so you can look at it if you'd like.
Yes.
You just want to put all your details. You know the time of your birth, right?
1994. What app is this?
This is called Astrogold. It's like an astrological software.
Oh, so cool.
Oh my god, you're Scorpio!
Yeah.
Wow, girl. How did I not feel that? It's your
And you're
Pisces
Scorpio?
ascendant. No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh, okay.
You have Virgo on your descendant, so...
You're going to have to explain what all
Yeah.
this means.
I'm going to explain it all to you.
I knew I was a Pisces ascendant.
Do you mind me asking what was your ex-partner's archetype? Just so I can... Libra. Okay, cool.
That's their rising, right? Like the
That's
sun.
the sun.
Yeah.
Libra. Yes. Yeah, because you know what was interesting? I was getting a tiny bit of Gemini from you,
Ooh.
but it's in
Gemini's
your
my moon.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can just look at people and like pick up.
Well, I can feel like their elements, you know, and because the reason why I wasn't picking up straight away your Scorpio energy is because you're so giving. You're so like loving and kind, you know, and usually Scorpio is much, but this is still part of you, but it's a bit more hidden because your Pisces ascendant, we'll get into it, is so like, you know, boundaryless in its meeting with the meeting of the world, you know, and the people around you, and a bit like a sponge, and sometimes, you know, seeing the world through the romantic lens, you know, very like, whoa, and then the Scorpio is like, can I really trust this person or this situation? It's like a little bit more keeping its cards close to its chest.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I'm trying. Do you know if your Bluetooth is on your laptop?
It should be.
Yeah.
How do I get this big? Full screen. Woo woo.
Yay.
Okay. So this is me. That is my chart. Dun dun dun.
Everything you ever need to know is right here.
And this is the beautiful Daisy.
Hi guys.
Introduce yourself. Tell them what you do.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm Daisy, and I am an evolutionary astrologer, and I am very passionate about astrology and understanding the stars and using the stars as a tool to understand amazing human beings. Which we all are, so
all
unique.
Human beings.
Yes, all human beings, so unique. And yeah, my intention with astrology is just to remind everybody how unique they are, how to be in alignment with their authenticity, because I believe, when we're in our authentic alignment, that's when there's flow in our lives. And when we're out of alignment and we're sort of trying to fight against what's true to ourselves, it's when the universe will be reflecting back to us blockages and hurdles. So yeah, the astrology, understanding our soul's blueprint, helps us to just be in more ease and flow and joy and being in alignment with purpose. And also just giving you permission to just be yourself, you know, despite how society, despite how society tells us to be. It's like, you know, we've all come here to be our own little flavor to add to the world. Otherwise, the world would be boring. So yeah, trying to just be the best of what you really are, rather than trying to mold into something that you feel you should be, which actually then creates so much unhappiness in the end. So yeah,
because then it's internal conflict all the time.
Yeah,
between like what you think you should do, what you should do,
yeah,
what you want to do.
Yeah,
and then it's like a angry triangle.
Yeah, and then it's like reflected externally.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited because I've never done this.
Yee! So cool. Yes. So So this is your beautiful chart. So awesome. So this explains more than we'll get into. Oh, wow.
What?
You have such beautiful karmic patterning. So I always begin the session by looking into your karma. So we'll begin by looking at the south node of the moon, and this helps to paint a picture around any past life experiences and behavioral patterns that you've brought in with you that are sort of holding you back from being in your full potential in this lifetime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I always like to begin the session by looking at the south node of the moon. This little bubba here, it looks like an upside down horseshoe, and yours is in Taurus in the second house. But before we dive into that, the south node's really important because it helps us to paint a bit of a picture around accumulated past life energy. So anything that's been very strong for you that has played out in previous lifetimes that is a little bit shadowy, a little bit unconscious, a little bit It's holding you back from being in your full potential because it's a bit of a comfort zone. So it's easy to be like, oh, okay, I'll just, revert back here, and I'm used to being in this space. And then we look over to the North Node, and this is where your soul is wanting to move towards in this lifetime for its greatest liberation and growth. And it is a bit more like unfamiliar territory. I do feel though that you have already entered deeply into the North Node. Usually when people are on purpose, they will be already moving towards where their soul, your soul is calling you there and pulling you there. And I think you have gone there, but maybe there's some things that you're still needing to balance out, because you're not wanting to abolish the South Node because there's so many gifts there, but mostly you're just wanting to balance out both of these points in the chart, and sometimes that means moving more into this new territory and then coming back into balance.
So is there a reason why there's so much stuff here and nothing there?
Yeah, so I believe that when
And then?
when there's like houses empty in the chart, it's more to do with that your soul is in this lifetime wanting to focus on these areas. So the houses, these like numbered like spaces in the chart, these represent different realms of your life, different areas. It's sort of like the stage.
So it looks very Scorpio heavy.
Girl, you are super Scorpio dominant. Yeah, like really Scorpio dominant, which is really beautiful. But you potentially could have some resistance around fully stepping into your scorpionic energy because your South Node is in Taurus, your North Node is in Scorpio, so that's where your soul's wanting you to move into. But usually when I find that there's a bunch of planets opposing the South Node, it can indicate that this energy was sort of against you in a previous lifetime or not working with you. So there's a bit of like fear around it, which I'll explain more of, because
Just a barrier.
yeah, well, essentially coming from a South Node in Taurus in the second house tells me that you've come from many previous lifetimes of deeply rooted self-sufficiency. Like, I have to look after myself, I have to make sure I have all of my material needs met, survival mode. It's been and you're good at doing that. You're good at being like, okay, how can I look after myself in this situation? How can I get the materials I need, the resources I need to make sure that I can survive?
I'm good at that.
Yeah, and really like that core, even like that self-worth, that value system set of self-sufficiency. Taurus is connected to life, so it's like you spent previous lifetimes very connected to maybe surviving in this realm, right? But Scorpio is all to do with death and complexity and everything that is beyond what we can see in this material realm. So your North Node in Scorpio in the 8th house, so you have like a triple Scorpio whammy happening here, because
Of course I do.
because there's so much Scorpio happening here. It's so beautiful. I really honor the Scorpionic energy. It's amazing. But they say wherever we have Scorpio in our chart, anybody, because we have all the archetypes in our chart, it's where you're going to undergo the most transformation in your life. So your soul coming in with so much Scorpio has like really signed up to have deep transformation and deaths and rebirths, many deaths and rebirths in one lifetime, in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, what's really interesting is your South Node, to not confuse you, I'll explain it, is ruled by Venus in Scorpio in the 8th house.
So that's what these triangles in the middle are for? Or is
Yeah,
that what you're looking at,
these lines help us to understand the relationships between the planets in the chart. But to understand your South Node in Taurus, which I was just talking about on a deeper level, we always like to look at what's ruling that. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. So essentially what this is telling me is that you have major relationship karma in this lifetime, like major lessons needing to learn between how can I learn how to fully let go and be in this space of complete merging? Mm-hmm. Your North Node in the 8th house is calling you into absolute complete merging and oneness with another. It's like merging on the spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, every single level, that you're in such a place of vulnerability, which is really scary for Scorpio because you guys are so good at seeing weaknesses. You're like, I don't want them to see my weakness because like it will fuck me up, because Scorpio is so deep. Like, that's one thing about Scorpio. It's like, you will never stop going deeper. Yes. And that's why it's scary, because that South Node in Taurus is like, no, let's just hold on to this realm. And the Scorpio is
yes. Scorpio is like, no, you're not.
Yes, exactly. So there's this part of you that's like, but I just want to be safe. I just want to hold on somehow. And the Scorpio's like, no, like ego annihilation.
And that's which Scorpio. One? Keeping goosebumps. How is this possible? Which one am I meant to be listening to? Scorpio.
You're moving into the Scorpio, but the thing with Scorpio is you're needing to learn how to do it in a very healthy way, because Scorpio is very, this energy can really suck you into spaces where you're feeling powerless and feeling out of your center, because there's this thing with Scorpio where it can almost become like obsessive. And I think in a previous lifetime you were in a very Scorpionic relationship, and I think what happened is your partner like potentially like consumed you and took you out of your safety. So there's like this need, there was like this desire for you to stay within the realm of like being here and feeling safe and trying to provide for yourself. But your North Node there is really asking you in this lifetime to learn how to be in really healthy partnership where you can be completely merging with the other, but at the same time be fully self-sufficient. Because the 8th house, so the 2nd house is the house of my resources, my things, my value system. The 8th house is everything shared.
Oh, okay.
And even having like Venus in your 8th can indicate you
shared in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, in every lifetime. Like
So the 8th for this lifetime for you, you have a lot around you needing to share resources with people, especially like, you know, the 8th house is also the house of marriage and union, and really like going deep beyond the ego layers to really just see the depth of somebody's soul and their core. And maybe there's things in you that are holding you back because you lacked safety, I think, in a previous lifetime, maybe in relationship. So there's like this, and you're trying to balance these 2 points. You know, you don't, that's the thing, Scorpio can be so powerful that it just like sucks you in, you know. And then What do you think so far?
I'm blown away. When you said I was in a very Scorpionic relationship, does that mean I was with another Scorpio? Like we were both Scorpios?
I would say not necessarily. It's more just like the energy of the entity of the relationship itself.
Okay.
So you know when two people come together, like the separate from both of you, the relationship takes on an energy of its own. So the energy of the relationship would have been more Scorpionic, which indicates maybe feeling powerless, you know, both of you, there could have been power play happening, there could have been, you know, even like manipulative tendencies playing out, and maybe your partner was just so much wanting to like possess you that you felt like, but then I think also there's a part of you that wants to possess your partner too. This is both ways.
That's what I'm starting to let go of.
Yeah. It's huge. Like, girl, I have my Venus in the 8th house, but mine's in Cancer, and I fucking feel you so deeply on that, because it's like, what the fuck? It is such a deep, like, you need to be with someone that can meet you on the deepest of levels and can honor how deeply you feel.
Like what we were talking about last night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you feel in love, you're just like, I'm on my knees, like here I am, everything, I'm open, I'm here. And you need someone that can be like not gonna take advantage of that, or not maybe try and run away from it or feel afraid, because Scorpio wants to consume. You know, you both want to like consume, but then of course like it needs to be healthy, that's where it can get wobbly, you know, because you just want to penetrate to the core of one person. You're not really open to being like, oh, I want to date this one and I want to go over here and try that out. It's like, you, me, let's go.
That is, my mom is going to be watching this being like, yep, that's her.
Yes.
Is there a connection between two things? One, is this, like you said, that's very karmic or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is a lot of, pretty much all, maybe not definitely all, but majority of the people who I find myself attracted to or being in relationships with, I later find out that they're either Scorpios or Libras. Is there like a weird...
Well, that's probably, because... It's interesting you say that. We'll talk about your descendant soon, which is in Virgo. But, it's probably because one part of you, your Venus in the 8th house in Scorpio, and the Mercury in the 8th is very drawn to that, like, intensity of the Scorpionic energy.
Yes. Because
I like to say Venus, she's very good at getting what she wants. You know, she's said to be the planet of love and money and, you know, self-worth and values and
love and money
tools. Yeah.
Wow.
So having Venus and Scorpio in the 8th also indicates that you can be a very powerful businesswoman, probably having a shared venture with somebody else, or even like silent investors, like shared, again, that's like the shared resources. It can also even...
And that's the shared thing in the 8th house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing, like your South Node in Taurus is probably like, oh, I just want to take care of my own money and my own funds, and I'll make sure I have my own things. But that like North Node in the 8th is more like, maybe in this lifetime you have to go into marriage where you're gonna share all of your money, like, you know, those things which is scary because then it becomes like uncontrollable. Taurus is like, it's fine, I've got everything in my control. Scorpio's like, all the uncontrollable.
This is exactly what I battle with.
yes, yeah, and it's cool.
So weird that you can look at this and just, like you said, this is a reflection of me. It literally is. Like, you're just telling me about myself.
Yeah. Yes, I've got some very interesting things to tell you. Very cool things that I hope will help you too. I have some more things to talk to you also about relationship. But let's...
This one.
Yes, that's your descendant. That's Virgo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the descendant is... I like to see the descendant as a mirror. It's the type of people that we find ourselves kind of magnetized towards. They can be friendships or intimate partners. Because they're possessing certain qualities that we are maybe not lacking in ourselves, but needing to integrate or remember that we possess. Or maybe
Virgo, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Virgo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah! You have a good memory. Yeah. Or certain qualities that we've rejected in ourselves even.
Mm.
So, you know, and you can see that you don't have so much earth in your chart. You're probably, well, apart from the South Node in Taurus actually, which does definitely give you that stability, sense of craving stability and safety. So, I mean, that's the theme thing I'd say about your karma, is that the South Node in Taurus is so concerned with how can I find safety and stability. And whereas the North Node in Scorpio is really stepping out of that, taking risks, of course, like being safe in doing so, but you know, and you probably feel this in you because you are a Scorpio, even though your sun is in the 9th house, which we'll get to soon. But yeah, that's Scorpio. It's like sometimes if you're not in a healthy emotional place, it can be prone to like taking the peak experiences or the, you know, wanting to like live on the edge, and like it can be a little bit towards the self-sabotaging side because it's just like, I'm just gonna go for it, I'm just gonna,
doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And then your South Node in Taurus comes in and is like, what are you doing?
What's that movie where it's like a psychology movie that they've turned into cartoons, and so it goes inside someone's head and there's all those little things? Have you seen that?
No, that's... Whoa.
I'll have to find out what it is. It's really good.
I mean, that's like kind of like,
like
you.
I just pictured this, like Taurus coming in and be like,
no! Yes. Yeah, wow. But that's sort of like, you know, you were very, very, very well versed in reading people,
mm-hmm.
in also understanding that you're good at seeing people's shadows, because wherever Scorpio is in the chart, it's sort of like the doors are a little bit open to the underworld in a way, you know, and it doesn't mean it's negative or bad. It just means that you can see the dark as much as you can see the light. And having that Mercury there in the 8th, you're such a detective.
Which one's Mercury?
This guy here.
Purple one?
Yeah.
He's a little guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a little devil. He's like,
he's the winged messenger of the gods, but he was
okay,
very
that
cheeky.
sounds a lot nicer.
Yeah, well, no, he was very cheeky. Oh, wow. And you know, we've just come out of Mercury retrograde, and it was happening in Scorpio. So it was really like full on for you. Yeah.
As in, come the 20th when it stopped, I felt so eased and released.
Yeah, that would have been a really big one for you, because it would have been...
Because my birthday was on the 19th as well, like the last day of it. When I woke up on the 20th, I was like, oh, I feel good.
Ah, yes. Good. Yeah, it would have been a huge one for you, because Mercury, that retrograde would have been making you reflect deeply and needing to revisit certain things that are connected to these planets, like even in your deep, intimate relationships, and how you're merging with the world around you. There would have been opportunities for you to start to shift your perspective on certain things, but it could have also been a little bit of a painful experience, you know, because Scorpio and Pluto, which this is Pluto here, which rules Scorpio, is connected to everything that we don't want to look at. That's why Scorpio is so good with holding space for the shit and the darkness and the shadows and the taboos and the shame. You know, Libra might be a little bit more like, let's just keep it light and have a good time, you know, very this lighter energy. Scorpio's like, no fucking way, like I'm sitting here through the shit and the shame and the taboo, and like I want to see what your shit is. I want to see you in your muck. I want to see the darkness. And I love that about Scorpio, because when some people might run and hide, you guys are really able to show up and hold space. You know, it's very like shamanic energy, Scorpio. It's like,
that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, Scorpio energy is so powerful.
Proud to be Scorpio.
Yes, oh my gosh, yes, Scorpio women are super powerful. And when you step into your power, it's like, whoa. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, permission to be intense. Don't fear your intensity, you know? That's one thing I find with Scorpio. It's like, oh, I'm afraid of my intensity and people are gonna be intimidated by it, or, you know, me really, you know, Venus in the 8th house in Scorpio, like, fucking hell, sexual power. Like, you know, really stepping into, because also Scorpio, even though it rules the sexual organs, it's not about sex, it's about intimacy.
Yes, intimacy.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the intimidating thing about Scorpio. It's not coming along and being like, oh, I want to have sex with you. It's like, I want to peer into your soul.
Yeah.
Like eye-gazing deep, you know? And that's you. And that's where it can be like, whoa, it's scary, you know? You're probably really good at eye-gazing.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean...
And I love it.
Yeah. It's like an action step you can take from those sessions.
I always make... Oh, I don't make, but... Everyone who I do it with always ends up crying.
Yeah.
But they always say it's a nice release.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. And I feel like with my eyes, I'm telling them that I'm holding space for them.
Yes, totally. Yeah, you can always see Scorpio has such like a penetrating. That's the key word for Scorpio as well, penetrating. It penetrates through the surface.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
well, we really do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's one thing I recognized recently about different things with the different archetypes, of course, but with Scorpio...
This is like archetypes and like human design?
Archetypes is like the 12 zodiac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So with Scorpio, a sort of shadowy thing with the Scorpio energy is that you guys are sort of predisposed to noticing weaknesses in other people. And it's not that you're meaning to do it in a bad way, it's just that you're so sometimes wanting to protect yourself that it's like, yeah, you can just see people's shadows. You can see the things that they're not wanting to see in themselves. You can see their weaknesses, because what we're not owning is owning us, so it does become a weakness. And
yes.
you're very good at confronting people with that. But what happens is then you're afraid that other people are doing the same to you when they're not, because maybe they're not actually predisposed in that way, you know. So then that's when, even though Scorpio on the deepest level craves merging and intimacy, it actually inhibits itself sometimes from that intimacy because it's afraid of being hurt, or it doesn't want to be weak. Because it's like, I don't want them to see my weaknesses, so I can see yours, but I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest, you know?
Yep.
And then it almost inhibits you
It's
from
such a contradiction, too.
Yeah, from what you most deeply desire.
Because we can, well, I mean, I, as a Scorpio, can see it. Like, I know that I do that to other people, and then I don't give them the same openness back, especially in deep, like, romantic relationships.
Yeah.
And I know that's like a barrier and a hard challenge that I need to just run through. Like, don't even try to jump it, just run through it.
Yeah. Because it's also like you really honestly asking yourself, like, what power am I getting from this right now? Because that's the other thing with Scorpio. It's, even not consciously, it's very good at knowing how to keep its power in a situation. And when it becomes shadowy, it's feeding off of external power, you know, controlling a situation in a certain way so that it can remain feeling safe on an emotional level. The higher manifestation of Scorpio is like letting everything outside of you die off and completely just finding your own inner power and not having to rely on anything external, which is so hard because as humans we're conditioned to base our self-worth, our power, and everything on what is outside of ourselves, which is actually an illusion, because when we're placing our power outside of ourselves, we're not being empowered anymore, right? We're unempowered. So when we bring it back in and we start recognizing our internal tools, our internal values, our gifts, we're bringing our power back inside, and we're not basing it on anything external, especially like when it comes to beauty, you know. And that's something else I'd love to say, like one of your gifts is being able to find beauty in that which a lot of people wouldn't usually see beauty, because the Venus in Scorpio, it's like finding beauty in the shit, you know. Finding beauty in the muck. It's like seeing someone like seeing someone fall apart and you're just like, you're so beautiful right now, you know? Seeing beauty in where others wouldn't normally see it. You're very good at doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do feel like it is a strength.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that.
Yeah. So much to say about Scorpio. Woo! But we'll jump over quickly to your moon in Gemini. So the moon
is emotions. Yes.
So the way I see the moon is it's your emotional body, it's your sense of belonging and emotional nourishment, so how you can feel emotionally fulfilled and balanced. And then
by others, by the self,
by self, yeah. So that's the paradox with the moon. There's, again, one way you can find that emotional nourishment externally, which I'll dive into, or one way you can bring it back inside of yourself, and it's like navigating that, because it can be easily like one, you know, going one or both ways. And then another way I interpret the moon is how you parent yourself. It's usually how you've received love from one or both of your main caretakers growing up, and what you have attached love to, and now how you might have internalized that relationship with yourself.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, so it's like reparenting work.
I don't even know what to make of that. I'm like, give me an example.
Yeah. So moon in Gemini. The moon in Gemini, I find usually growing up, you've been modeled that you need to intellectualize your emotions rather than going immediately into the processing and feeling of them, which is quite different to Scorpio. But what's probably happening with you sometimes is you just bring it to the analysis of what is happening and the intellectualization of it, and maybe needing to go and speak about it or journal about it, which is good for you. But the moon in Gemini can become so curious with what is happening externally to it that it almost starts using external things as a distraction to come back into the heart space. So this is the paradox. The moon in Gemini is fueled and fulfilled through curiosity. If you're not feeling curious, especially because your moon's in the 3rd house, so that's the house of learning. So like your emotional nourishment comes from learning.
Yes,
like you need to
does.
learn.
Oh my god, how do you know this?
Yeah, which is so cool because
this is freaky.
Yeah, and I know like the thing is, it's the moon in Gemini is usually it's detached and it's not as emotional, but because you have so much Scorpio in you, it's beautiful. You still have this depth, right? Usually the moon in Gemini will be quite fleeting. It's like, and also of course Gemini is the twin, so it can be dual. It's like, I feel this way and this way about this, you know, or in one moment it's not that you're even lying, it's like in one moment I feel this way and in the next moment I feel this way, because I'm constantly acquiring new knowledge, and the Gemini is just so mutable, you know. So maybe for your partner sometimes, or your friends, they're like, but what are you really feeling? You know, you said you felt like this and now you're feeling
and
this.
I'm sitting there in the corner going, I don't know.
I need to go read a book, I don't know.
I need to go to a training.
Yes, and my cousin, she has the moon in Gemini too, and I'm like, you know what? If you're feeling also sad about something, go and study it. Like that helps so much, I think, for the moon in Gemini. It's like, go and learn about it.
Yeah.
If you're feeling heartbroken, go and learn about like what is heartbreak. Learn about, and then it actually helps to soothe you.
I always thought that was like a go-getter within me, being like, how can I help this? How can I cure it? Not like the moon being like, how can I feel it and understand it? So it's cool to know that.
Yeah, and I think as well with the moon in any air sign, you need more body work, because usually when trauma happens, it's easy to leave the body more, or just bring it to the mind and like, how can I understand why this is happening? And it's like, sometimes then energy gets left behind in the body. So if you can do body work, it just helps to release anything that hasn't been fully processed.
So I have to move to Bali is what you're saying?
No. You're like,
Bali's the
my
place
astrology
for body
told
work.
me. Yeah. My astrology told me I need to move to Bali.
I'll be in Ubud.
Yeah. Well, if you feel the call. I mean, you do have your Saturn in Pisces in the 12th. That's pretty cool. This is like, Saturn is usually the planet of discipline, and it's funny because it's everything again to do with discipline, authority, structure, form. But having it in Pisces in the 12th house, sometimes you feel like you take the realm of spirituality very seriously, you know. You really, really that's where you find your discipline. But when maybe it comes to other like earthly things, you're like struggling sometimes. You're like, because your discipline is up here in the ether. That's where you're finding it, you know. And that's also where you can be an authority in your field.
Just because you brought up ether just then, how come there is 5 elements, ether being the 5th, how come none of the star signs have ether as their...
Yeah, so we use earth, air, water, fire, 2 yin, 2 yang. But it's funny, like,
which one's the yin and which one's the yang?
So fire and air. So we have like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is fire, and that's yang.
Yeah.
And then we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and that's air, and that's also yang. So all yang signs, they get energy from giving energy.
Air and fire.
Yeah, so it's much more like, okay, I see fire as like energy and passion. Yeah, and air is like that intellectual communication, like exchanging ideas. And then earth, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, is yin. It's a little bit more introverted. It's like, let's come bring it back down here to the earth. And then we have the water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Again, yin, very much in the feeling realm, much more internal. So earth and fire, people who are dominant, in earth and water, they really will lose energy if they're too much in heavy social environments. They might need to dip in and then go away again, you know. So
did I tell you that last night?
I'm
just saying that I liked being around people.
Oh yeah, you're like, I've been on my own for so long, I feel like to visit, but I don't know if I... Yeah. You're like
I love being around people, but I need like me space to just feel me again.
Totally. And that, I mean, having so much Scorpio in you, sometimes you just need to go and like go into a dark room and just be with yourself.
Okay.
Just let everything else outside of you die off, you know? Yeah.
That's what this one is.
Beautiful.
I surrender all.
The way he's done these are so beautiful.
Yeah,
it's very
that's
fun.
our teachers from the training.
That he wrote that,
his
right?
handwriting,
That's amazing. Yeah, they look great. And you little snake.
A little creepy.
Yeah, I love that. I really like this position. Oh my god, look.
We have
Thumb one. Thumb 5. Thumb 1.
Yeah, just one. Thumb 1.
So yes, where was I up to? Oh yeah, and then with the ether. Well, if we extend, I would connect Pisces to the ether, because it's like this boundaryless energy. So I mean, when we look through the water archetypes, Cancer is more like subjective emotion, Scorpio is more like DNA, like soul, and Pisces is like just boundarylessness. It's everything, you know, ruled by Neptune. And then Aquarius, which is an air sign, if I was to go deeper into that, I almost see Aquarius as like electricity.
Okay.
So I don't even know what element that is. But also
raw energy.
Yeah.
Or just like,
like very like
vibration.
Shocking you awake is very Aquarian.
Ah.
Boom, boom. Yeah, so with the moon in Gemini, this is where you need to find that balance. On one hand, it's very healthy for you to be able to go and study and learn and communicate about your emotions, and to journal and to call up a friend, and you need to be able to talk and vent about what you're feeling. But you just need to make sure then you're not becoming so much focused on the external stimulus that you're actually not fully processing what's happening inside. You know, I have my moon in Aquarius, so I think it's really easy when you have the moon in an air sign to not even realize that you're so good at being like, oh, I'm feeling this way because this happened. It's like so quick. Which is cool because it's like emotional intelligence, right? But then it can actually inhibit you from being like, oh wait, but
giving myself permission to feel
let it come out through my heart, you know?
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give myself permission, I'll consciously give myself permission to feel more.
Yeah.
Because it does feel good when you release like that.
Yeah, and I know your Scorpio loves it. It's like, let's go.
I don't often cry. Because I rationalize it.
Exactly.
And I rationalize the rationalizing by saying that I just trust the universe so much that I know that everything is just an indirect redirect towards my right path.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's okay.
And that's,
but that's my brain, that's not my heart.
And that's also where we be careful, because it is not like a spiritual bypass, but it is, you know, one of those new age things where it's like, it's almost like sometimes I feel like new age spirituality is denying us from being human. You know, because it's like, this reminds me, I usually start my session with like an opening prayer. We can do it at the end.
We can totally do it whenever.
Yeah.
We can do it right now.
We can do it at the end. I'll do it as a closing.
Okay.
I think you'll really like it. Yeah, but what were we saying before that?
I
Something to
distracted you
do with you're good.
socializing
It's opening. Yeah, what I do in the opening prayer at the beginning is, what are we talking about? Oh yes, I'm giving you permission to validate anything that you're feeling in the moment, because so often we're like, oh, I should just be happy, oh, I should just get over this, oh, I should, and then we're actually denying the authenticity of the moment. And I believe that our soul has come here to have a human experience. You know, it's come here to have a physical experience. All you Tauruses out there, yes, you're allowed to indulge in the material realm. Don't deny yourself of it, you know, it's your domain. But our soul has also come here to experience the spectrum of human emotion, you know, and if we do look to like other alien races, I believe that part of being human is having emotions. Most of the other alien races have, I think, surpassed that level. They're more on like the neutral plane where they're just in constant like bliss or whatever, but
like he does.
Yeah. But as humans, it's like our soul's been like, no, I need to come here and learn through the contrast of human emotion and experience.
And what a beautiful gift though.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to see how like we don't all have to be enlightened, in the sense that like a big part of my work is just help you be the best human possible, because we all have different human things that I'm here to be doing in this lifetime, and it's easy to start being like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be off in an ashram, I should be
I should be.
Yeah. And not, you know, some souls come here to go and do that, but not every soul. Some souls are here to be doing the most like humane things, and it's still divine because it's part of their growth, you know. So yeah, and then we'll move over to your sun. Super interesting. Yeah.
What is sun embodying? What's
So the sun is like, if you think all the planets in the solar system are orbiting the sun, And it's the same in the chart. The sun is like our core self. It's our personality. It's our ego identity.
Yeah.
It's our creative expression in the world. It's where we want to be seen and where we want to shine in the world.
Okay.
And how we want to shine in the world. But, you know, you wouldn't say
so
that...
it's not how we are seen, it's how we want to be seen.
Yeah, and it's also can be how we are seen, but you'd more say the ascendant. Before someone gets to know you better, there's like different layers. So the ascendant, I'd say, is the energy. I see the ascendant as an energy that's just in front of you like this.
Like a mask.
And you're still fully integrating into it, because in evolutionary astrology, I see the ascendant as something you're stepping into. But when people first meet you, they see it on you.
So it's a very thin veil.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're like sort of stepping into it. So it's like also this like, yeah, this veil, but this part of us that meets the world in a certain way. And then once you get beyond the ascendant, people will then start to see you more for your sun sign.
And my sun is
Scorpio.
Yeah, like what you are, right?
Yes.
Like that's your star sign.
Yes,
that's
that's your
sun sign.
zodiac sign, your
Okay.
star sign. Yeah, so your sun is in Scorpio, and it's conjunct Pluto, and Pluto rules Scorpio. And
Oh.
Pluto for me is like the most intense planet in the chart in an awesome way. But the cool thing about you is that like you can't hide from anything.
Damn it.
There's like no fucking around with you. Do you know what I mean? Like even if you're like, it's like the universe is very quickly on an evolutionary level, like confronting you with things.
Mhm.
Like, and it's just the way your life is gonna be, because you're here to evolve quite quickly with all this Scorpio in you. So the Pluto on the sun, the 9th house, I'll just say for the realm that it's in, the 9th house is the house of like the big wide world. It's universal laws, higher education, different cultural backgrounds and belief systems. It's global consciousness, it's philosophy, it's religion. So you are sort of, it's also belief systems. So you are here to be doing like major, deep, cathartic, transformational work around belief systems in this lifetime.
Within myself?
Within, and for the community as well,
Oh,
I'd say. I feel like it's part of the work you're here to be doing, like big time. Going in deep and helping people to see everything that they haven't been seeing, all of the like the lies, the bullshit, the secrets, the mystery. Like you're here to be confronting people with a lot of truth in this lifetime that they're maybe like, I don't want to know about it. And you're like, no, well, you have to know about it. Like if you want to evolve, if you want to step up and be a good human, you have to confront this stuff. So you're here to be doing some pretty deep work in this lifetime, and a major theme of your life is to be finding, you know, it is to be exploring different cultures, different belief systems, and really carving away like what is your truth, what is true for you. And this is going to be constantly evolving and transforming throughout your life, because Pluto as well is the planet of death and rebirth and transformation. Having that on your sun, your core self, you're going to be experiencing many deaths in this lifetime.
And being a Scorpio, that's like a phoenix to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's a
double
phoenix
death,
rising
double
from the
death, triple
ashes.
birth. Like,
Yes. It's like a fast track to like spiritual development, I'd say, and like self-growth. Yeah, like I said, there's like no escaping. It's just like the universe is like, no girl, you know better. You know, anytime you're like, I'm just gonna pretend that I'm just gonna go up and do this, the universe is like, boom.
Nice try.
Yeah. And you're learning a lot, I'd say, as well about attachment, especially because you have
non-attachment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because as well you have your ascendant in Pisces, which we'll go to next. But yeah, I feel like with that Scorpio too, it's like once you become really attached to something, it's going to melt through your fingers. So yeah, the ascendant in Pisces, also a major lesson here, non-attachment. How to have a healthy ego, or at the same time be ego-less in a way. And that's where the non-attachment comes from. It's like also you're learning how to step into this sense of oneness. But the thing with the Pisces ascendant is you become a bit like a sponge. Pisces is quite a boundaryless energy, so it means that when you enter an environment, a situation, you're super sensitive to the energy around you. And sometimes you might be unconsciously then taking on board other people's things that don't belong to you, and on an energetic level, it's like that boundary between you and the other is very, very, very thin, even sometimes non-existent with the Pisces ascendant. So it's beautiful because, again, with that Scorpio, if you want to, you can just melt into someone else, as long as you have healthy discernment, though. You know, so meaning you're able to really be like, yes, I can trust them. I can really see what their intentions are. Taking your time to really get to know somebody and feel into their energy field, because the Pisces ascendant can be like not like naive in its nature, but more just like, whoa, like really seeing the best in someone and really seeing the best in a situation, being like, wow, this is so amazing, like I just want to get to know you more, and just like that. There's like it's so cool. You almost have see the world in like an underwater way, you know, like that fantasy. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful, you know, where you're like, how do I deal with this right now? It's like
every morning when the sun comes up, I'm like, ah.
Yes, wow. So and when people meet you with the Pisces ascendant, they feel, you know, a lot of, my mom has it too, that they just feel so much like, I wouldn't say peace, but just softness in your energy field. A lot of like, they feel good around you, you know. The Pisces ascendant is very beautiful and soft and caring, and also you have this sort of like fantasy energy around you that's a little bit like, whoa, is she real?
Mysterious.
Well, that's the Scorpio, very mysterious, yes. So I also like to think sometimes that with an ascendant, it can also be energy that people project onto us sometimes too. And I'd say mostly you just don't want to be taken advantage of with the Pisces ascendant. I think that your Scorpio, though, is pretty good at knowing when to protect itself. But like even I see it in my mom and other people I know with this ascendant. It's just because people are like, oh wow, you're so nice, you know, and then they feel, so you're learning that healthy discernment of not even just with people, but with all meetings and encounters into any situation and environment in your life, you know. Yes, so then we go to the descendant, and this is the, like I was saying before, the type of people that you...
Which one's the descendant?
Here, Virgo. Yeah, the type of people that you find yourself quite magnetized towards in this lifetime. What's super interesting about your descendant is you have Chiron, which is the wounded healer, on your descendant. And when we have any planet in the 7th house, we tend to find these planets through our partner or through our most intimate friendships. And what I found with Chiron in the 7th is that you're very good.
Chiron's a planet?
No, it's a planetoid. It's like a mix between an asteroid and a planet. Yeah.
Fun fact. As in it's just a really big asteroid, or
I believe
works
so.
energetically like a planet?
Well, energetically, we also still include asteroids. There's many asteroids that we also use in astrology.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's just a blend of the two. But Chiron is so powerful because it's like a wound. It's the most traumatic in some ways part of the chart because it's a wound that we live with our whole lives. And it's beyond us. It's like, how do I get rid of this? It's like he never fully leaves us, but the beautiful thing about Chiron is it's where we're a healer because we're having to learn how to deal with it, live with this wound on an embodied level. It's not like I'm just going to school and I'm learning about it. It's like I'm fucking sitting with it. And that's where we can become the most powerful healers because we actually can then empower other people with the tools to heal themselves, especially because you have Chiron and Virgo. You are really here to be learning a lot about holistic health and empowering others with the tools to heal themselves. You're not here to actually be healing them. You're like, let me hand you over the keys so you can do it yourself.
Yep.
But yeah, what's really interesting having Chiron in your 7th, you probably have a tendency to attract in wounded people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or for example, it's like you might...
Is there such thing as someone who isn't wounded? Like in
No.
some way or the other?
No, but I
Is
think
this romantically or just relationships?
This can be romantically or your closest friends.
Okay.
But the energy I get from this, because having Chiron and Virgo already tells me that there's this wounding around perfectionism, or feeling like I need to be better, I need to be this. It's quite hard on itself. But you might find yourself attracting this energy in through your partners sometimes, where they're like, I need to be better, I'm not good enough, and you feel like you're having to be there. It'll be like, no, it's fine, like you've got this, it's okay. But you're like, why don't you see that in yourself? It's almost like Chiron, yes, that wounding is belonging to them, but also it's being reflected back to you, because maybe in some ways it's asking you to look at, how am I being too hard on myself? Like, why am I attracting this reflection in right now? What is it coming to teach me? And also knowing that it's not always your responsibility as well to have to heal that in them. But you might find yourself sometimes maybe attracting people who are feeling like, a bit like perfectionists, really hard on themselves, and you're just like, why are you doing that? Or do you find yourself ever to be like that with yourself?
I think everyone does to a certain extent. And I see it with like some ex-partners as well. But I assumed that was just kind of a neutral thing that everyone's going to experience at some point. And maybe it was just the period that I was with them that I was attracting them to me, or attracted to them, like energetically. That was just meant to be. Again, I just justify everything. It's like it was meant to be. I mean, another example of that could be like, do you find people come to you and very easily just start being like, oh, I just went through this, and you're just like, whoa. You're like, and that's never like whoa. It's like it almost feels like that's what I'm meant to do. Like I come here.
Do you feel guilty not to?
No, because I feel like I have something to offer them, and not to fix it for them, like you said, but to be able to.
Yes. Okay, cool. Then you're navigating that in a really good way. Because I feel like sometimes the Chiron and Virgo guilt can arise, but you are navigating that in a really good way. And then it's also just your Pisces ascendant having that boundary of like, is this appropriate that you're sharing this with me right now? And like, how does it, like checking in with yourself? But it sounds like you're navigating it in a good way, which is good. But more about Virgo. Virgo is, I believe, quite rooted in purity, but not to the point that, they should have shame around being dirty, whatever that means for them. That Virgo is very discerning. I like to say they're earth angels, because they're very good at coming in and being able to very much notice the details in a situation. They're very good at organizing. They're very good at pulling tools and resources together. They're like list people, and they're very...
Are they manifestors?
Mostly. I mean...
Manifesting generators?
Oh, I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure. I'm a generator. But I think that's because I have so much Sag in me as well.
Okay.
But Virgos, I'm not sure. That's a really good question. I should find that out.
We should all find that out.
Yes. But Virgo, they can be perfectionists. They can be very hard on themselves. But what they're probably coming in to teach you is just how to have a more grounded and really like beautiful relationship with the material environment around you, and being able to notice like the sacred geometry in nature, and bringing more, like, I guess you could say, discernment into your life is a very Virgoan thing. And I really like to say Virgo is related to purity, but not in the sense that it's creating shame. That's how I want to be careful about that, because then it's like if we're just focusing on purity, then we feel shameful about the dirty things. But it's more just about being like, no, I've got my shit together. Like Virgos are very good at coming in and just getting your shit together. So you're like attracted to that, because you're like, yes, you can teach me how to get my shit together.
Yep. It's so funny that you say that as well. I'm currently reading a book called Get Your Shit Together.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. That's so cool. And the really cool thing is the life path with the Pisces ascendant, Virgo descendant, I like to say, is connected to you calling in a partner where you're both learning how to serve beyond the ego. So with you having the Pisces ascendant and all this water in you, it's more in like a spiritual and emotional and energetic way, and Virgo is more like in a practical way.
Okay.
So yeah, calling in a partner, that did not work. It's okay. I know, I was like, yay. Yeah, calling in a partner where you can both be in service beyond the ego, or you know, in a healthy ego. Which is really beautiful, a beautiful life path to be able to walk, because you want to be with someone who has similar goals as you and aspirations, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be with someone where you can be in service together, because Virgo as well is really about being in service. Sorry, I'm like sweating.
No, so much. Can you tell anything by looking at a chart about so many questions about like past lives, and is there a set number of past lives that we've supposedly had? Is there different soul ages? Like, how does it all work?
Yeah.
And then in the bigger picture, are there, what do they call them? Like spirit guides? And is that a part of astrology? Like, where does it all kind of...
Yeah. So I can't really, in terms of like the number of past lives and soul age, that I don't really look at that. I feel like that's more of a psychic thing. Someone who's like been born with a gift to be able to tap in. I don't know, have you heard of Ainsley MacLeod?
No.
He's amazing. You should look up him for this stuff. He does a lot of this work.
Okay.
With like soul ages and all these things. With the astrology, I can more just look at like patterning that you've brought in with you, whether it's just from the most recent previous lifetime, or if it's been like an accumulation of energy that you've been learning how to deal with. Yeah. And then in terms of like spirit guides as well, that's not so much astrology based either. Yeah, I'm just working with the cosmos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think again with spirit guides, probably psychic. Or I think with these things as well, just really like tuning into ourselves, because I think we know so often we're placing these like power on, you know, seeing a psychic or seeing someone that can tell us these things, but it's like
seeking answers rather than seeking guidance.
Yes, totally. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's so in this modern age where like I want to see this healer, I want to do this, I want to, you know, I think it's really important to anchor in on some core few people that you're going to talk to, because at the end of the day, people can just be throwing around so much information. And again, like even with my reading today, you just have to feel into like what really rings true to you, and what, you know, take everything I say with a pinch of salt, you know. And I always like to tell people, it's never my intention to be a fortune teller or anything, right? Because I feel like everything I'm telling you, you already know on a deep soul level, and it's more meant to be this remembering. It's like, oh, yeah, oh, I needed to be reflected that in a way that now it makes more sense to me consciously.
That's beautiful.
Aw, you're beautiful.
You're beautiful. That's how I picture death. Like death of this body is not like a death, but actually like a remembering. Like I think it'll be warm, and then we'll end up in a place where we just go, oh my God, how can I forget this place? Like that's what I think about death.
Whoa. And I love that you think about death, because it's so scorpionic of you, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No one else?
I don't think like that, no. That's like your Mercury in the 8th. Like, this is so cool. Like, you're open to exploring these things. Maybe it even means that you're going to be working with death, or, I don't know, people transitioning, or, I don't know, if you ever feel called to do that.
Called to do the opposite.
Bringing life in.
Being a doula.
Yes, that's again very scorpionic, bringing the spirit from one realm to the other, right? Yeah, that's great. You should definitely do that.
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean,
in Kauai, oh my gosh, have you heard of dolphin-assisted births? I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently there's a guy in Kauai who, when you're in labour, like you're about to give birth and you're 10 centimeters dilated, they walk you into the water in some bay, and you sit down or like float, and he somehow summons dolphins, and they come and just circle around you as you give birth in the water. Like, oh, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, because dolphins are my spirit animal. Like, I was a dolphin in another life for sure.
I do feel that from you a lot. You look very like marine. Like, do you know what I mean? Though you do look like you're of the ocean.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know it though.
I look like a dolphin.
No.
Thank you, I think.
No, just that, even that Pisces ascendant, you have like more like a mermaid,
Oh.
you know, like that sort of like very, how could we say, like, I don't know if it's marine or, but the water energy, yeah. Yes. So where are we up to? We're up to your Mars, I believe.
It's
Cool.
so interesting.
Yeah, do you have any more questions so far?
I'll shoot them at you when I hear them. Because otherwise I can't remember them.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if I interrupt you and just like,
No,
"Whoa."
please interrupt me, because it's like just, it also helps me to go deeper, you know, because all the symbols have so many different ways of manifesting, you know. So if you say something to me, it'll actually like activate, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and this, you know, yeah. So yes, Mars in Leo, such a cool placement. Yours is in the 6th house. So for you, the Mars is like a planet of action and motivation. It's very yang-like. It's got, you know, primal energy, very like survival, and how do I protect myself? How do I activate myself out in the world? Even, you know, how do I go into a relationship? Am I gonna go and hit on him? Do I like to be a little bit dominant? Like the Mars in Leo, I think. Yes.
Is that not Scorpio?
No, I mean, kind of, but the Mars in Leo probably likes to be a bit dominant in the bedroom.
Oh,
like, I mean, Scorpio is more like S&M, so like, let's take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, for real though, like, if you were open to that, which I think you probably are, but yeah, Scorpio likes to really go deep and dark in the bedroom, you know, like sexual healing. Like,
Yes.
let's open your
Tantric.
wounds here, let's go into it, yeah. And let's like bring some whips too. Yeah, so the Mars in Leo is such I really love this placement. It's very passionate, it's very playful, you know, there's like this playful lion cub-like energy inside of you. And if you're not playing, it's like,
I love
what's
what
the
you
point?
just did. That to me was yoga. Like what you just did is how I feel every time I get on my mat. I'm like playful, fun, sexy, raw.
Yes, so that's your Mars in Leo. That's awesome. And you know what I always Yeah, totally. And in the 6th house, well, the 6th house is the house of health, the body. And this is also you probably wanting to be, you know, more of like a leader in your field. Like, let me show you how it's done. Like, because, you know, Leo is here to be seen. It's here to show up and take up space. So, and in the 6th house, health, ritual, body, also the day-to-day routine. So for you, you need a lot of fun. You need a lot of excitement. You need a lot of passion on the day-to-day.
Yep.
Oh, I just got like a ringing in my ear. It's weird.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's like, yeah. I don't know what's happening. Woo. No, it's okay. I'll just stick with the stars. Maybe not in this lifetime.
Next one.
It's too much, yeah. Yeah, so one thing I find really interesting about Mars in Leo when it's in a woman is that he is like so proud and he is passionate and he's like, I'm here to show up. And, you know, really...
The he and the she.
Yeah, your inner masculine
Okay,
one.
yeah.
That sometimes, like, when you meet a guy, you're like, he's like, I don't know if he's, like, good enough for me. You know, he's, like, very regal energy, like, let's get to it, let's test and let's see how we go. Like, let's get in there. There's this part of you that does have this confidence of, like, okay, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to see if you can handle me.
I do have that.
I love Mars and Leo. Yeah. And
is Leo ruled by Mars, did you say?
By the sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mars rules Aries, so you can probably tell because Aries is such like go-getters. Like, I don't even see the collateral around me. I'm just gonna go for what I want. Like, you know,
sprinting their whole life.
Yes, like literally, they're known for walking with their heads in front of their bodies. Like, I think Aries are little pocket rockets. They're also really tend to be very good-looking people because I find that it's related to the primal survival. So they tend to be very fit and very like active and very, like
Aries, you say.
Pocket rockets.
Keep a lookout.
Well, I think that it's interesting when people ask me about synastry, right? Because you really need to put two charts together. But
okay, so you're talking about compatibility, like
if we go to compatibility, like I think someone, you know, maybe someone with some Virgo energy would be nice for you because it is on your descendant, and they will help to bring some grounding into your life as well, you know, in a different way than the Taurus does. You have a lot of Scorpios, so I'm like, yes, on one hand, your Venus is like, intensity, passion, you know. But on the other hand, it's like, is that really what I need? I'm already exploring so much of this energy on my own. Yeah, so maybe some like air and earth would be nice for you. I mean, I can see the Libra is also falling across your 7th and 8th house. So that's why, like, being with a Libra, his sun would have fallen into your relationship houses. So that's why it's still activating that part of you.
Okay.
Yes. But, you know, that Mars in Leo needs to be with a partner that can step to the side and allow you to shine. You can't be with someone who's competing with you. Yeah. Because it's going to piss you off. And you're also going to be like, bye-bye. And that's the cool thing with Mars in Leo. It's like your ego is strong enough to get you out of a bad situation, you know? Your Mars is conjunct the vertex in Leo in the 6th. So the vertex is to do with fated encounters and meetings in this lifetime. And in
I like that idea.
Yeah, but it can be either like a really good or bad experience.
Oh, it's mine bad?
No, it's just like to do with your greatest teachers.
Okay.
So yours being in the 6th could either be to do with a coworker, because the 6th house is also connected to coworkers. It's also the house of pets. Yeah, and also like health and body. So it could even be someone you've met through yoga, someone you've met through holistic health.
And it's normally a person is the greatest lessons and teachings?
It can be a person that comes in and changes the course of your life.
Wow.
Displaying Leo-like qualities. And as we know, Leo is a leader. Leo is stepping up and taking up space.
You think they're going to be a Leo?
Well, they might possess Leo qualities.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that'd be a Leo. Maybe. You let me know. Maybe it's also like a pet, you know, something that allows that Mars in you to just receive so much love, affection, and attention.
So animals also have a birth chart?
Everything in the universe has a birth
so
chart.
So freaking cool.
Yeah, so like a tree, like the moment we met has a birth chart. The moment you and I met. So the moment we met, our sun was in Aries. Which is Sagittarius.
You know this from last night?
Well, because the sun is in Sagittarius right now, right? For like the next month.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if I look on my phone, I can actually look what it was. I think the sun is in Sag. Where's Venus right now? In Capricorn. Oh, so nice.
And it's a new moon, new beginnings, new relationships.
Yeah, so... so like every moment, every meeting, the moment you maybe meet your next partner, that moment has, your relationship then has a birth chart. It's the moment it was born. So also like when a baby is born, the time should be recorded when the child takes its first breath.
Right.
That's really important. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so... Yes, what did I want to say about the Mars in Leo as well? Yes, so the shadow side of this placement is, of course, one, it can be drama if it's getting angry. It's like, you know, and the Scorpio is like, sting! But, yeah, so...
You need to make a movie with all these different personalities.
Yeah, that's what my friend said to me. We have in Ubud at my friend's cafe in Revive, we have every Tuesday a poetry night. Yeah. And she's like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to go up and you're going to intimidate all of the star signs. And I was like...
By doing an onomatopoeia poem. Yes.
That was your moon in Gemini. An onomatopoeia poem. I was like, what? Yeah, so, yeah, the Mars, the Leo energy, right? It's the shine, the positive qualities to Leo energy is just giving the love and joy out of your heart to the people around you, and for you that's just sharing it in your everyday life. The shadow is then actually relying on the other person, the way they will receive it, putting expectation on how they might give back to you, because you're so good at giving and wanting to share that love and joy from your heart. If it's not received in the way you're hoping, it can really damage your ego a little bit with the Mars and Leo.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a big lesson for you to learn how to be like, whoa, I'm gonna just drop a love bomb here, and I don't care how they take it.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. Little love bomb.
Do a little
one for you, one for you. Yeah. And then I'm going to look away.
No. Just sit with it. I was thinking that too, like, yeah. But yeah, no, it'd be a really nice practice for you. And then you have your midheaven in Sagittarius.
My midheaven?
Yeah, your midheaven.
I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, it's called, so the MC, the midheaven in the chart is to do, it's the highest point in the sky at the time of your birth.
Oh.
Yeah, so that reflects in the chart as how everybody in the big wide world is going to see you, and it's to do with your career, your, you know, part of that like vocation in this lifetime, and also maybe even how you're here to be an authority. So you have your midheaven in Sagittarius, which is really cool, makes a lot of sense. It's ruled by Jupiter in the 9th house in Scorpio. So Sagittarius, as we know, is a very expansive sign. It's got a lot to do with travel. Usually people with a midheaven in Sag, you're here to be teaching, but you have to be traveling with your work. But because it's ruled by Jupiter and Scorpio, I'd say you're going to be traveling to some very, not like scary places, but like intense places, like whether it's to like the Amazon or somewhere
out of my comfort zone.
Yes, places where you're having to do a lot of deep transformational work. Again, in the 9th house, and with, you're here to be working with belief systems, but you're also here to be helping people find faith again. But genuine faith through all of, again, through the Scorpio, right? So faith through all of the muck and the shit and the bleh and the shadowy stuff, and really almost maybe helping people go through that. Because you know, when people go through these scorpionic plutonic experiences, they feel hopeless. They, you know, they find their light, and then they go through these like plutonic experiences which like fuck you up, and then they're like, what's the point, like why? And you are here to come back in and be like, I'm gonna help you find your faith again. Like, this is your faith, this is why you're here, this is what's gonna light you up, and to really help them see the whole, rather than like maybe the new age spiritual way of being, which is just like, one love, be happy, you know, we're all made of love, unconditional love.
Right idea, but harder practice than preached.
Yeah, exactly. And can cause more shame and guilt and dismay than it's intended to.
Yeah,
you know, that
because they're like, why aren't I feeling that?
Or like, oh my god, I'm thinking a negative thought, I'm gonna manifest something negatively. It's like, no, that's not the way it works. Because, you know, I'm very...
Frozen. Let it go.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I really believe that we don't manifest from our thoughts, we manifest from our level of self-worth. So our vibration is our self-worth, it's our deservingness. So navigating every moment in our lives, am I making a high or low self-worth decision in this moment, and seeing that the only thing we're communicating our worth to is the universe. So every person or situation in front of us is just an illusion or an opportunity to do that. But anytime we're...
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's cool, huh? Yeah, because then it also helps with a lot of this, like, oh, if I think negative something, it's like, no, it's so much deeper than that. Like, if you believe you're deserving, it's okay. Like, don't be afraid of being sad and being upset. It's actually really healthy. I like honor those moments now.
What you said earlier about that, about giving yourself permission, was, I was like, I need to write that down.
Oh.
But I'll go watch it back and I'll know what you said.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really love that too. Just validating, like knowing that you're fucking awesome for whatever your mood you're in right now, you know, and validating it. It's like, I am allowed and worthy of feeling this way.
Yeah, just honoring your different phases. Like, I don't ever look at the moon and be like, oh, she's not doing too well tonight.
Yes. Yeah, or like, oh, it's winter. Like, if Mother Nature is experiencing winter, don't you think we have to too? Because we're just a reflection. Yeah, and it's the same with the cosmos. Like, the stars are not making us do anything. They are literally just their orbits, their cycles, their rhythms. It's just a reflection of what is already happening inside of us. That's so clear. It's all interconnected. Yeah, the macrocosm, the microcosm, and we just can use the stars as a tool to understand more, like, oh, what's the lesson here? Like, oh, this is already maybe playing out, but how can I navigate it in the most healthy way?
How are you only 23?
Aww. Babe.
Your soul's like ancient.
Aww. Yeah, well, thank you. I'm like,
I can tell that you're working on accepting compliments. You're like, thank you.
Yeah, maybe
like
it's
a little
Virgo.
mouse.
Yeah.
You're gonna let your inner Leo shine. And be like, thank you.
Yeah, because I have my Lilith in Leo. Oh my god,
what's a Lilith?
oh my god, your Lilith's in Taurus.
Whoop whoop. What does that mean?
This is one of my favorite points in the chart to talk about.
Is it that?
Is this one here? Lilith was the first wife to Adam before Eve.
Oh, yes.
And she got banished because she didn't want to have sex in a missionary position, which basically translates to her not wanting to deny her own truth to please the masculine.
Yes.
So Lilith is present in both men and women, but she represents the wild, untamed, feminine archetype that I see as being shamed and rejected by patriarchal society or modern day society.
Yes.
So Black Moon Lilith in the chart shows up as one of the most shamed and rejected parts of self.
Wow. It's
And
a third house.
Taurus. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, so I see for you having the Lilith in Taurus, you're not only gifted with needing to integrate this for yourself, but integrating it to heal the collective feminine consciousness.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, through this archetype. So for you, it's actually the permission to be sensual as a woman.
Yes.
To be in pleasure.
Yes.
To be receiving pleasure, to be giving pleasure, to be feeling pleasure. The Lilith in Taurus is very embodied, very touchy-feely, but usually at some point begins to feel a lot of shame around how much she wants to explore in the body and touch. So you're here to reintegrate that for the feminine of like feeling safe to be like really enjoying the pleasure of the moment that we've really cut ourselves off from as women. It's so feminine, right? Like pleasure is feminine.
Yes.
Because the masculine is more like
rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's, and in the third house, it's to do with going and learning and exploring about these things, because it's a huge gift that you hold here, this sensuality, and it's something that you have cut yourself off from a little bit. And it's probably because also with the Scorpio, it's like, whoa, like how deep can this go? You know, like once I open the floodgates, you know, with Scorpio sometimes it can become like a never-ending black hole, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it's just
vicious.
Yeah. That's also what I wanted to say to you here too, actually, with that Sun conjunct Pluto. Just being careful as well that you don't become obsessed with a certain belief.
Okay.
Because that Pluto can definitely become obsessive, because it's like, this is my truth and I'm so strong in this truth, and then I'm nothing else. I'm committed to this. I'm going deep into it, and then it actually becomes a little bit unhealthy, and it blocks you from connecting with some people, and also from being able to see different perspectives, because you're so like devoted. You're like, this is it, you know. So
I felt that a lot.
Yeah.
But like even with tattoos, like that's why I got them, because I was consciously letting go of that.
Oh,
and
go
being like, it actually
girl.
feels really good to remove
Uh-huh.
and just like shed all the limiting beliefs that I've put on myself.
Yeah.
And the barriers that I'd given myself that were just so not necessary. Because I identified so deeply with certain things, like the fact that I would never get a tattoo.
Yeah.
And that probably came back to like the purity thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it feels really good to finally shed that.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm going to do it because I can, because this body's only here once.
Yeah.
Why then a lot?
Yes, good for you. Yeah, and that's the thing with Scorpio. It's like the number one key thing for you to keep aligned with is transparency, and that's also transparency with yourself.
Yes.
Like how can I be more transparent with myself in this moment? What am I hiding from myself? Because the Scorpio is very good at hiding things and trying to sneakily get around something, you know, and you need to keep showing up and being like, what do I not want to look at in this situation, and what am I afraid to share with them?
I do need that.
Because whatever you're not sharing is holding major power over you, and is literally blocking you from your authenticity and blocking you from your manifestations coming through.
Damn it!
Yeah. Everything that we are hiding is blocking us. Yeah, because we're literally out of our authentic self. And all the universe wants is for us to just be in our authenticity. So it's never punishing us, it's just reflecting back to us. Yes.
No, like you said that, because I've found that I feel like I have trouble manifesting, and I think that's why I didn't really attach so much, or not attach, just resonate so much with the human design, because I was a manifesting generator, or a generating manifestor, whatever it is, and I've never felt like I'm capable of manifesting. Like I've tried, I've done vision boards and stuff, and I can very happily and safely and comfortably come up with all the ideas, but actually doing it, I fall short every time.
Wow. You know, so my manifestation advisor, Lacey Phillips, she says the 3 things to manifesting is making sure that you truly, authentically are on a level of self-worth that matches what you're calling in. That you're unblocked subconsciously. So our subconscious is programmed in us from the age of 1 to 7 during childhood. So anything we've been modeled during that time by parents or peers.
So scary and how fragile.
We're so fragile. That's true.
The human brain is as a child.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and the 3rd thing she says is being expanded enough. So that, so she says she doesn't support vision boards because she says it confuses the subconscious. She says what helps is actually finding expanders. So it's anyone that you either feel like envious of, people, or situations. So peoples, yeah, girl, peoples. Yeah, like going out, and for me, like I'll find expanded couples, and I'll be like, oh wow, this couple mirrors exactly what I want in a relationship. And then it's like that's showing me that it's possible. So it's like, and the more that you can find an expander that you feel like you really resonate with, like their background and everything, it's really activating your mind to be like, oh fuck yeah, if she can have that, I can have that too. You know, we can all have it. And
also the fact that like I haven't got one myself, but I would love to. And they say every successful person has a mentor, like at least 1 or 2 mentors, like someone that they look up to and they seek advice from. And I was like, that makes total sense, especially with that. Like it's the same thing.
You're calling in your Leo mentor.
Yay.
Yeah, and then, I mean, these are generational placements, like Neptune and Uranus, so everyone in your generation, or our generation. Uranus?
I like that. So much better than Uranus!
But yeah, having yours in the 11th house is really beautiful, because the 11th house is the house of community. It's, voluntary groups, it's giving back, it's activism, and it's just like also big community friendship groups in the global community. So having Uranus there, which is this radical, revolutionary energy, and Neptune, which is very much more etheric, but because yours is in Capricorn, it's like, okay, I'm an open channel here, and I'm really able to bring it in and ground it down and give it in a more practical way, so that other people are able to take it seriously and take it on board and understand what I'm sharing. So yeah, you're really activated in the global community in this way.
I like that.
Yeah, bringing about a little change.
Why is there nothing in my 1st and 10th?
So it's mostly because your soul, I see every placement in the chart as an intention that your soul has made before incarnating into this reality, and I'd say it's because your soul just decided in this lifetime it needed to focus more on these areas of your life. However, by transit, so this is like the planets at the time of your birth, but by transit right now, of course, the planets are constantly moving and shifting, right? So by transit, these houses will be activated at different times of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
When something's in retrograde or something, or just...
periodically. I mean, like right now, actually, you've been having a lot of activation. You're in your 10th house, because the sun has just moved into Sagittarius, and your 10th house is ruled by Sag. And also Venus, she was just in Sag, she's just moved into Capricorn. But right now the sun is shining its light actually on your career house. Yeah, until it moves in. Yeah, right now.
And that means that that's the time to get started business-wise?
Yeah, it's probably you're feeling really like this desire to share what you've been learning and to be seen and to be teaching a bit more. And yeah, there's like a beautiful, and the sun, the solar energy is very good for manifesting too. So yeah, there's some nice like solar powered energy in your 10th house at the moment.
Love me some solar powered anything.
Actually, this year has been amazing for you because you've had Jupiter. Sorry, this is awesome. You've had Jupiter. So last year would have been like a really fucking intense year for you because you had Jupiter moving through your 9th house.
Last year, 2018 or 2019?
2018.
Okay.
Because you had Jupiter was in, well, it would have been awesome because you would have had your Jupiter return last year, but because it was in Scorpio, again, everything that you were wanting to look at relationship-wise and like all about like my truth-wise was being shown to you.
I thought Jupiter return was meant to be when you were 30.
24. Saturn return is when you're
Saturn
29.
return.
Yeah. No, you still have some time for that. I can tell you though about the Saturn return. Yours is going to be pretty cool actually. Yeah, but Jupiter return is usually a pretty awesome time. It brings about quite a bit of luck and expansion, but last year for you, probably you were really being confronted with things that needed to change. This year, Jupiter moved into Sagittarius and into your 10th house. So there was major expansion this year around career for you, actually. And then next year, he's going to be shifting into your 11th house in Capricorn. He will be a little bit longer in your 10th and then into your 11th. So it's going to be a major focus on the worldwide community. You're going to be really touching many.
Year?
Yes, this is next year. Touching many people from all over. Your Saturn return still isn't going to be happening for some time. It usually begins around 28 to 30, but is usually exact around your 29th birthday.
Wow.
Saturn return has a lot to do with us individuating from the family, from the home, from old conditioning that has been holding us back. It has a lot to do with where we are not taking self-responsibility, accountability in our lives. So that's why Saturn return can be so intense for some people, because if they haven't got their shit together and they've just been like winging it and not taking any responsibility, that's when like Saturn return can be a really fucked up experience. But you know, around Saturn return, people get married, they leave a major relationship, they completely change their career, or they completely move to a different space. I mean, because yours is in the 12th house, it's going to be something major around actually spirituality for you. Maybe taking your spirituality, like your relationship to spirituality, to the next level. Maybe your Saturn return is going to be spent in an ashram, or it's going to be in a monastery, you know, or as well, because the 12th house is tapped into the collective unconscious, you might be confronted with a lot of shit of how what the collective is not taking responsibility for. And you might be feeling that a bit and being feeling very, because also Pisces can be, it's very important during Saturn return to not go into victim, because victim is like the lowest vibration.
Yeah.
And Pisces can be prone to do that because it's so sensitive and it becomes so overwhelmed that it's just like, it like can't, you know, it's like, how do I
breathe?
Yes.
How do I move my left hand?
Yes. I can't get out of bed, I can't do it, you know. So yes, it's very important during this time, but it's still quite some time off for you, right?
Yeah, 4 years off.
Yeah.
Approximately.
But what was last year like for you?
I don't know. I don't think there was anything major that I can think of. Just like the same struggles as always. I guess it was probably a little bit harder in terms of my relationship with my family. Self-inflicted. But yeah, I don't think I've manifested the career that I want enough yet to be able to, for that to resonate properly of like, yes, last year was, or this year or whatever was great for you in terms of business and career. I think maybe small things that are heading me in the right path,
cool.
But nothing significant yet.
Yeah.
I think I need to just approach all my shadows, confront them.
Totally.
And then be like, all right, universe, manifest through me, work through me, go for it.
Yeah, you're so spot on. Yeah, they're the two things that just came through for me when you were speaking. firstly with the transits, like with Jupiter, he will come through and activate certain things in your psyche, but it's up to you how you act on them. So in this past year, you probably were feeling a lot of like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, but you really have to be like, okay, I'm clearing my channels, I'm allowing space for this to come through. And yeah, you're right, like I see you really upping that next level with shifting into your scorpionic power and really owning that, like that depth and that intensity and that power and that sexual power, and not being afraid to share it with others, and understanding that if other people have an issue with it, it's because they have not stepped into their own power yet. So you actually, by not stepping into your power there, are enabling them to stay in their insecurities.
Yes.
Whereas by you being really honest and being like, this is a shadow of mine, and you know, the best way to do this is honestly through social media. Like if I'm afraid of saying something to someone,
you say it to everyone.
Yeah, and that's what my manifestation advisor says. She's like, oh, if I can tell, social media. Like, she's like, you need to be
because it doesn't matter who sees it. It's about you being brave enough and courageous enough to do it.
And seeing, like, it's more like the energetics with the universe. Like, by me owning this and sharing it, what am I energetically communicating to the universe?
And attracting back.
That I'm stepping into my self-worth. Yeah, because it's like, am I staying in low self-worth by wanting to hide this because I'm afraid of how people will receive me? Or am I going, fuck it, I don't care how I'll be received, I'm still going to share anyways because that's me being in my truth. And then it's actually like really powerful. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else hidden in there?
I mean, there's always so much to talk about, but we've basically covered all the main points. We've covered like all of the points of the chart. But yeah.
What does that say? Tropical.
Yeah, so the type of zodiac I'm using is tropical, so it's based on the seasons.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the house system I'm using is porphyry.
Porphyry.
Yeah, it's really hard to pronounce. Yeah, porphyry.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not even spelled like it's.
Yeah.
Then again, my name is also not.
Yeah, was your name spelled like that in real life? Sjana.
Sjana?
Yeah, but it's with the J. That's really cool.
In real life. Yeah.
I mean, people say that to me too. They're like, is your name really Daisy? I'm like, it's on my passport. Yeah.
I love that you say it like that. You could be wearing like Daisy Dukes and like little shorts or something. On my passport.
Yeah. Yeah, is yours on your passport? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Elise is my middle name.
Yeah.
It's my last name, but
cool.
Yeah, Sjana was taken, so Sjana Elise it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy, I mean, you probably want to keep your name now, right? But I know some people who like went and bought their names.
I have to actually buy it off someone though.
Yeah.
Like they have to agree to it. Like my ex was trying to buy his name, and because it's like not his proper name, and the person only had like a couple of followers, I think, and he was like, no. And he was like, okay then.
Oh no.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I know that
Not that it really matters.
Yeah. My housemate up in Ubud, he got his ex-girlfriend's name for like $500 and it's just Pia. P-I-A. He bought it for her for one of her birthday presents.
Creepy stalker.
No. He bought it for her. As like one of her birthday presents. He's like, I bought you your name. I thought it was pretty cool though.
Yeah. And I like when people buy like a star or whatever, or they get like the birth chart printed out.
Yeah.
I've never had it and never seen it given to someone in real life, but like I've seen it in movies and I'm like, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Or like where the Cosmos were when they met or something. Like that's just
really beautiful.
it felt hollow.
Yeah.
Sounded hollow.
Oh,
There's something in there.
Yeah.
There is a heart in there. And a lot of these little characters running around.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
these are just all parts of you. I mean, you know, astrology basically gives us permission to be bipolar. Have like split personalities.
It gives us justification.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so cool though.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
yeah, I can't believe I've never done that before.
Thanks for being so receptive.
No, thank you. Thank you so
Yay.
much. Yay!
Sweat party.
Even with the aircon, I think it's because the door's like slightly open.
Oh, I don't even want to know how hot it is out there.
Whew, no, I don't want to know either. No, but yeah, thank you for this. Thank you for letting me share it as well.
Oh,
and so people can get from it what they want as well. And then hopefully people can come and get theirs read as well.
Yeah.
Where do people find you?
Yeah.
Because you're partly in Bali, partly in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, where are you based?
So,
or website or?
Yeah, I offer online. So most of my sessions I do online, but I also do in person because I travel a lot. So I'll be in.
And online is Skype.
Zoom.
Yeah.
So they can book in on my website, which is Flowers for Days. So it's like flowers FORDAIS.com. It's my brand name. Flowers for Days.
4 days. It's like Daisy.
Yes.
Days. Yeah.
I know. So many people have been like, "Why is that your name? It's not connected to astrology." I was like, "I don't care. I like it anyways."
Yeah.
Flowers are the stars of the earth.
Exactly. .com or .au?
.com.
Okay.
Yeah, flowersfordays.com, and then my Instagram, flowersfordays_astrology.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
And please do it. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. Can I keep this?
Yeah, please keep it, girl. I would love that.
And every time I have another question, I'm
Yes.
going to be like, excuse me.
Yeah, we
Help
can do
me
another
out.
reading in the future. I can do all your transits as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that again. Maybe in Australia. It's like
Will
looking
you be my official astrologist?
Yeah! How's yeah, girl? I love that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And how often do you recommend people get this read?
So I like to start with the basic chart, and then they can dive into the transits as soon as they want. But then the transits you only have to do like once a year, because I will forecast ahead 1 year.
Okay.
And I'll never be like, oh, this, you're gonna have a divorce. I will never say things like this.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, this is the energy playing out. This is how it could manifest depending on how you work with it.
Yeah, because it
And-
is always that.
Mhm.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, and usually what I'm telling people as well, even if I'm doing the forecasting, they're like, oh, I already knew that was going to happen, or I already felt it. It's like, I'm not shocking. I don't think anyone you ever see should shock you with information, because it's always already inside of you. It's just someone reflecting it to help you become aware. But never see a tarot reader that's like, because that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Well, I think it's fun to have like curiosity maybe.
Yeah.
But like you were saying before, how people go and they expect answers rather than guidance.
Yeah.
And so I think it's fine to like go to people like that, as long as you don't expect them to heal you and understand that everything that happens is just shifting something inside of you to hopefully help you grow.
Yeah. Or like relying on something.
Like it's not,
still need
it's
to
not
work.
gospel.
Yeah. Because sometimes I feel like I do believe in psychic ability. I do believe, because I do know some amazing psychics that can really channel. But I feel like the dangerous part is like if someone tells you what's going to happen, it almost completely changes the course of the behavior that was leading up to that moment. It's like my tarot readers, like, I can tell you when you're going to meet someone, but then you're not going to do the work that you need to get there. So I'm not
and therefore, so if I tell you, it won't even happen that way anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How tricky. Whereas this doesn't change.
Yeah, your natal chart. So the cool thing as well about this is that everything that has ever happened to you and will happen in your life is present here in this chart. Like, even when I was studying Frida Kahlo's chart, you could see how her husband cheated on her with her sister.
Who?
Her husband?
She's
Frida Kahlo. Girl? Yeah, you know her. I'll show you. She's the one with the monobrow. She's an artist, and she was like really famous, and she was married to this guy called Diego.
Kind of familiar.
Yeah, she was Mexican.
Okay.
You should watch the movie. It's beautiful.
It's called Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, she was really like troubled though. Really, a lot of mental things happening and abuse, and and her husband ended up cheating on her with her sister.
And you saw that?
Yeah, like everything is in the chart.
You saw her husband cheating on her with her sister here?
Like symbols representing it, yeah. There was like a Saturn.
What's in mine?
Well, that's the thing, like there's so many ways for them to manifest. But for example, like if we spoke about certain things in your past, I'd be able to see where they were being represented in the chart.
Okay, yeah.
And like, for example, with, I was just giving one of my friends a reading, and there's just a symbol. I was like, I don't know if I should say this one. There's just a symbol in his chart that represented the many types of women that he'd been with.
Wow.
Yeah, like people who tend to be a bit more famous, and it's all in the chart. It's like, wow. Yeah.
So it's actually really intimate to be able to look at someone's birth chart.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the thing is, I always interpret it in the most, like, I'm real. I'm not gonna be just like saying all the positive things.
Airy-fairy,
I'll
yeah.
say the shadowy things, but I do always look at it in its highest potential. I'm never, So I always give people space to be their best selves, you know? I'll never look at someone's chart and be like, oh. I'll be like, you know.
Maybe like, ooh.
Yeah.
But not oh.
Yeah, because that's the thing, even like with twins who come in with the same chart, they...
Oh, wow, how does that work?
Yeah, so firstly, like, again, freedom of choice. Everyone comes in with a different level of consciousness and awareness. So
Does the minutes, though, change it?
yes, I mean, it can change it, like, the smallest amount by it, but not so much. They probably still have quite identical charts. But what happens is that we all come in with different past life history and different levels of consciousness, and because of our free will, it's up to us how we work with the symbols in the chart. So that's why two people can have the exact same chart, but they're having very different manifestations, because the chart is like the container of your life, and then everything inside of that is your freedom of choice.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful balance between destiny and free will, I could say, then, with astrology. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I can't believe how Scorpio heavy that all is.
Yeah.
I just look at that
Isn't
and I'm
it
like...
crazy? Because it's almost like you didn't know how much Scorpio you have in you, huh?
I mean, I knew, like you
feel
said,
it.
like, yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of times where I've really felt connected to something, like I always know that there's something bigger and I feel connected to it, to source, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. But there's been a couple of times, and I think the Scorpio and what did you call it, Lilith, were really powerful, and I was like, that is who I am. Like, that is just raw energy, is this.
Yeah.
And it was really liberating to witness that and to be able to feel it and digest it and process it, and then to come at the other end and be like, okay, I have a new understanding and respect for the priestess and the seductress within me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then translating that into life, not just like sex and romance. Being like, I can seduce my life, I can seduce myself, and come back to my truth and my essence whenever I want.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, babe.
I'm going to put that as my background.
Oh, yay, you should.
So that I can always remember.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Lots of flow.
You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Touche, touche.